Hello, hello. Welcome back to the podcast. This is Hayley, your host of Weight Loss Without Dieting. I'm a nutritionist and a brain training weight loss coach. And this is the fourth time I'm trying to get this recording done. Oh my God. It's been a whirlwind over here, you guys. So, if you watch this on YouTube, by the way, I post all of these videos on YouTube, so the podcast is all up there. You might notice that there's like a different background behind me, which I have blurred out because it's extremely distracting. But a couple days a week, I take my baby over to my parents' house and I work out of my childhood bedroom while they help me watch her. And so today I am trying to record this, and it's just been, I've had people walking in with a crying baby. There's just a lot going on. So fingers crossed, I don't get like halfway through this and get interrupted and have to start all over again. God willing. Okay, so let's dive in. Today we are talking about creating effortless weight loss. I think this is the end goal. We want to be at this place where weighing what we weigh, weighing less, losing weight and weighing what we weigh is just effortless. It's natural. It's who we are. Because, not only because, but part of because what we're doing right now feels the opposite of effortless. It's struggle. It is constant effort. It is constant vigilance. It's always feeling like we have to be hyper, willpowering our way to losing this weight. It's exhausting, is what it is. And I want to say that that is never going to work. If that's how you're feeling trying to lose weight right now, it's never going to get you to where you want to be. It's never going to just magically transform into feeling effortless. And it's never going to be a lifelong thing. It's never going to be something that you can just hang on to and be like, okay, now this is just what I weigh and it feels really good and easy. It's never going to feel like that. If it feels really hard right now, it's never going to suddenly feel easy. So you really need to, if that's your goal, which I really think that it should be all of our goal, because effortless is how we stay there. Then you have to start out with that intention. But really, there's what I'm going to share with you on this podcast is that there's really just kind of boiling it down. There's one thing that you can do to have all of this feel effortless, to have it just kind of fall into place and have it feel like you're not really doing anything. You're not struggling every day. You're not exhausted by the amount of emotion and effort that you have to put into it. That you could just get to this place where the weight comes off. It feels really good. And then you're just done. And that is one of my clients recently had this story kind of unfold for her. It was something that she went into the program with that intention of, I want this to feel effortless. And after losing the 50 pounds, she was like, it's effortless. It's easy. I'm done. I'm moving on. She's like, I'm looking for the next challenge in my life, which I want for everyone. I want all of us to have that experience. And so I want you to know that no matter how much doubt you're having right now listening to this, or how much resistance you're having to what I'm saying, it is possible to get there. And there's this one thing that you can do that's going to be really helpful, which is what I'm going to break down for you in today's episode. Okay. So I do want to kind of deepen your understanding of what effortless is and how that is created. Once we know this, I think it gives us such a better understanding of what's going on in our mind and our lives. I know that when I was starting out on this journey many years ago, I can't even remember how many years ago that was at this point. Maybe with all the hecticness of this day, I should just not even try. But when I was starting out, trying to figure out, why am I eating things that I don't want to eat? Even though I know better, why am I doing this? I feel like there's so much spinning around in my mind. I had no way of quantifying it or understanding how it was playing out. So, what I teach my clients is something that I was taught by my mentor. So, I did not invent this, but it is a big part of my program because it's so helpful for for you being able to see, okay, this happens and then this happens and then this happens and then I get this result. And really being able to clarify everything in your mind of what's going on. This is exactly what's going on. This is why this is happening and why I'm experiencing this and why this isn't working. And that is that our thoughts, so the sentences that are running through your mind all day long, they create your emotions. Whatever you're thinking about creates that physical sensation that you have in your body. And I want to add, because I think for a long time I thought this, and many people come to me, and when we start diving into this, they think it's not real. That emotions, they're not just like this gushy mushy thing that some people have and some people don't. An emotion, a feeling, same thing. That's a physiological response that's happening in your body, which is why you can feel it. Which is why, if you think about something, if we take this to the extreme, something like fear, you can feel that. That's a sensation that's in your body. Like you can recognize that. You're like, yes, that's fear. I feel scared, whatever that, whatever that is. But all the emotions are like that. They're all physiological um, sensations that we have in our body. So they're palpable. That's a real thing. It's not just something that some people have and some people don't. Whether you like it or not, you are experiencing emotions on a daily basis, and those are directly caused by how you're thinking. So, effortless is an emotion. That's a physiological sensation in your body, and it's created by how you're thinking, by the thoughts that you're having. Okay, so let's take this another step. How we try to lose weight, what we're all doing, because this is the standard that's out there, is we're trying to do a lot of action. So actions are verbs. So let me put this, let me start back at the beginning. We have a thought that creates an emotion. And then from that emotion, from that physical sensation that you have in your body, you take action. So you do a thing. There's a verb. And then the culmination of those actions gets you your result, which in this case, the result might be whatever number you're seeing on the scale. But the result is like the culmination of all of your actions. So, what most of us are trying to do is we're trying to insert a bunch of actions. We're trying to do a lot of things. I'm going to eat this list of foods, and I'm not going to eat this list of foods, and I'm going to go to the gym this many days a week, and I'm going to count this many calories per day, and I'm going to track all of my points, and I'm going to have this many macros. Those are all actions. And so that's why your weight loss, what you're doing right now, feels very struggle. It feels like you're putting in a ton of effort, because that's a ton of effort. And really, what's going on is your thoughts and your feelings, which precede your actions, you're not monitoring those. You're not working on them in any way, shape, or form. So when you say, I'm going to do this list of actions, whatever is unfolding after that is like some thoughts and some feelings that are trying to help you achieve those actions, follow through on those actions, but they're not really aligned. And so it feels like you're putting in a ton of effort. You have to use a ton of willpower. And a lot of times we feel very stuck because we're trying to insert all of these or these thoughts and emotions that, and I'm not even joking, the internet went out while I was recording this, right in the middle of my sentence, which I find hilarious considering like the way recording this podcast has gone. It's it's been an hour that I've been trying to get this done. So, anyways, now that the internet is fixed, moving on. So, we are trying to insert a bunch of actions. Our thoughts and our feelings are not aligned for those actions to feel like they're just natural. So, I want to say that when your thoughts are aligned, and when I say that, like, I mean that this thought creates an emotion that effortlessly creates this action, and then you get the result that you want. That's what we want. That's what effortless is. And when your thoughts are aligned with the result that you want, the scale going down, the actions just fall into place. Everything falls into place. It doesn't feel like you have to push to get yourself to do something. It just feels like you're doing it. That's the beauty of understanding this. What I'm teaching you right now is called the model. That's the beauty of understanding the model and how it works, is that you can kind of engineer this on purpose. You can say, I want to feel effortless. I want my actions to just kind of unfold, feel like I'm not really doing anything. And then the scale goes down. That's what we want. So when your thoughts are aligned with that result, your actions just fall into place. It all makes sense. It all feels like you don't really have to do anything. And I always tell stories on here about clients who are like, yeah, I've just felt like I wasn't really doing anything. And what's really going on there is their model, what's going on in their mind is aligned. And so those actions are just happening. They're doing them naturally. They're not pushing themselves to cut out these foods. That's really hard and they're really struggling. It just all naturally falls into place. And they're like, wow, and look at that. The scale's going down. This is crazy. I'm like, no, it's not. It's called a model and it works. this is this is what we're working to do and working to create. And once you've found it, it's really easy to keep doing it. So it's like that my client who was like, I'm just done. She really got the model and was able to have these thoughts that just created these actions for her that really felt natural. And what the ultimate goal is to practice that. So that's just who you are now. You don't have to think about it. It's muscle memory. It just happens. That's what we want. Okay. So I do want to say, maybe I already said this, but emotions are not just for people who have a lot of feelings and are really in tune with that kind of thing. We all have them. You are experiencing them whether you like it or not. And it's important for you, if you, especially if you want to have effortless weight loss, but I think for all of us, for weight loss in particular, it's important to know and understand your own emotions. And so if you're struggling with this, if you're listening to this and you're like, Hayley lost her mind and I don't want, I don't have emotions or I don't know where they are, and this all sounds crazy, I'm going to direct you to find, think of an emotion that you already know. So I mentioned fear. I think that's a good one, although that's a negative one. You could also pick um, maybe a positive one that you definitely, you're like, I know what this is. I know what that feels like. Quiet down, like do this in a quiet space, almost like a meditation. call up that emotion or how it feels, and then start asking yourself questions. Where do I feel it in my body? Where's the physical sensation taking place in my body? And what does it feel like? So I'll give an example. Um, I'm trying to kind of call up like fear because I feel like that's one where a lot of us know. Um, that might feel like a really heavy sinking sensation low down. So like in your pelvis, heavy sinking, kind of cold. It might also be like a fluttering in your stomach. So like right kind of beneath your ribs, like a fluttering, also cold, like a cold sensation. So see how I'm like giving all of that a descriptive name. I'm telling you where it is. I'm telling you how it feels. Like how does it move? What's the temperature of it? What's the color of it? What's the texture of it? These are all questions that you can ask yourself to kind of get in tune with what's going on in your body, where these emotions are, what they're doing. You could even start, because this podcast is about effortless, you could even ask yourself, where's effortless? What does that feel like? What is the sensation of that? Although effortless, I think, is one of those ones it's so in the background, which is why we like it. It's not loud, it's not exhausting, it's just ease. But that has its own sensation. It might just be a little bit more difficult to find. But start with one that you know or you think you know and ask yourself those questions. It's going to be really helpful. And it might also tune you into the fact that what you're doing now is why you feel exhausted, because it's so much hard work emotionally. It's it's taxing emotionally. It's really pressure, stress, overwhelm, worry, doubt, willpower. All of those are really heavy, intense emotions that you're going to get worn out from. And you're going to hit a breaking point where you're just like, I'm done with this. I'm going to release all of that with food. I'm going to use food to release all of that. And that's keeping you stuck, which is why knowing the emotions part is important. Okay. So, um, what effortless, I'm going to kind of run you through this. If our thoughts create effortless, think about what thoughts are going to create that feeling of effortless for you. So, thoughts like, this is easy for me. I know how to do this. I have no struggle with my weight. It's just easy. This is who I am. I know exactly how much to eat. I know exactly when to stop. I know what foods feel good for me. I know what the scale is going to say tomorrow. I don't really have to think about any of it. It's just who I am. All of those feel very effortless to me and create that sensation of like, this is just, there's an ease to it. So be thinking about that. And when I say like my client who wanted effortless and then got it, she came in with the intention of creating that for yourself. And I think that's really important for you too. Think about what your intention is. What do you want? And let's go figure out how to create that for you. So think about that for yourself. What thoughts create effortless for you? Okay, so into this is the one thing that's going to really easily create that sensation of effortless for you. And it isn't thinking about your thoughts or intentionally creating your thoughts. Although that will do it, there's also another thing that you can do that's going to move the needle on this for you. And it's one of the things that my client that I told the story about really nailed. And that is reconnecting your brain and your body. And I talk about that on this podcast in a lot of different ways. So you might hear me say being able to listen to your body. You might hear me say fuel when your body asks for it. You might hear me say stop fueling when your body tells you. All of those even being able to be connected to your emotions are helping reestablish that connection. What happens over time, this is something we are born with, a, with our brain being able to listen to the sensations that are happening in our body. But over time, through school, eating lunch at school, being on a timer, through just society in general, getting a job, like the pace of life, we move out of our body and into our head. Like we kind of break this connection. We stop being able to hear the signals that our body's giving us, being able to listen to those, being able to tune into them. Like we are living our life up in our brain, up in our head, and we've got no idea what's happening in our body. And your body, when it comes to weight loss specifically, your body has all of the signals that you need in order to weigh what you want to weigh. It wants you to weigh that too, and it's going to tell you, it's going to give you all of the information that you need. It has tons of information for you. You just need to be able to listen. You need to be taught, retaught how to listen. So that's a huge piece of my program. It's actually the first thing that we do. And I don't call it this, I call it something else. So a lot of my clients don't realize that that's what they're working on or that's what they're doing, but that's truly what we're reestablishing. We're reestablishing how to listen to your body's own natural signals. And when you can do that, when you can listen to your body telling you it's time to fuel and telling you it's time to stop fueling and letting you know what fuels feel good and what fuels don't, and that's all you're doing is listening, let me tell you, weight loss feels very effortless. It feels like it's just happening. You're not really sure that you feel like you're not really doing anything because you're not. There's not a ton of action that you have to do. You don't have to make a list of foods. You don't have to cut out gluten and sugar forever. You don't have to, exercise 10 times a week. All you have to do is listen. That's like your action, is just listening and following through on that. And all of a sudden, the scale's going down. And you're like, whoa, this is crazy. I feel like I'm not really doing anything. Yeah, you're just listening to your body and you're letting your body tell you when it's time to eat, when it's time to stop eating. And it's just natural and easy and effortless, and it just happens. So when you can reestablish that connection, weight loss automatically feels effortless. It automatically falls into that category. And when you can listen and you can use that as the majority guiding force behind when food goes in your mouth and when you stop putting food in your mouth, it will be a lifelong thing. I want to say, like, once you can start listening and using that as your primary director of your food intake, it is like it's hard to unlisten. Like you have to work to go the other direction and stop listening. It's like once you heard it, you can't unhear it. It's pretty incredible. It's pretty amazing. So that is, again, like the big thing that we work on in my program. And if you're doubting this, I have a couple stories along this. So I had a client recently. She was like, I eat really clean. I eat super clean. I think she had like 30 pounds maybe that she wanted to lose, 25 maybe. And she's like, I just don't know if you can help me. Like, I eat clean. So what is going on? And I was like, let's try this one thing. Let's try this one thing and see what we get. And she was very doubtful. So doubtful that I even almost like started to doubt myself. I was like, I don't know either. Maybe I can't. I'm not sure. Which the outcome of this just reminded me like, never doubt this. This is the thing. This is the thing. And she texted me after a week of practicing listening to her body. And she was like, I don't know what's happening. I lost 5 pounds. I've been working at this for a year. I eat super clean. And I did this only, this is all I did. And I lost 5 pounds. And a week after that, she was like, I'm down 8 pounds. And what she was saying to me, I was like, what did you do? She's like, I didn't really do anything. I just listened. And that's the answer that I was looking for, or just looking for her to understand and know that, like, that was the only thing that she needed to do. That was the missing piece. It doesn't matter how healthy you eat. It doesn't, well, I'm not going to say that, my second statement. It doesn't matter how healthy you eat. If you're eating beyond what your body is telling you, or when your body is telling you, we don't need to eat right now, you're not going to weigh what you want to weigh. It's as simple as that. It doesn't matter if it's salad and salmon, it does not matter. If your body doesn't need it, if your body doesn't want it, you're not going to weigh what you want to weigh. So that was her story. And then another one of my clients, and this actually, I'm telling this one specific client's story, but I hear this so much. My partner said, my spouse said, what are you even doing? How is the scale going down? And that was what one of this particular client was telling me the story. She's like, my partner can't understand how I'm losing so much weight because it seems like I'm not doing anything. And she was like, and even I feel like I'm not doing anything. And when she asked me that question, I was like, I'm not really sure either. I don't really know what I'm doing either. But really, truly, and that, is there anything more effortless than that feeling of like, I'm not sure what I'm doing. I'm just like, it's all happening. It's all falling into place. That is effortless. That's what we want. And it's 100% achievable with this very simple thing. If you can just retune into your body and start listening to your body again, the effortless will fall into place. Outside of that, you can intentionally create it. You can come into this with this mindset of, I want to intentionally create effortless. But you can also just do this one thing, learn this one thing, and it will kind of fall into place. It will just happen on its own, which is really incredible. So, I want to talk about building new habits really quickly because this comes up a lot. This idea of, how do I make sure that this is going to work? How do I make sure that this is going to last? And I want to say that, like, creating this new habit, becoming this new person, is really a matter of practice. That's all we're doing. So this came up on our coaching call this morning. I had a coaching call with my program, and one of my clients is like, I feel stuck. The scale is going up and then it's going down. I really want effortless. She's like, I see these people losing the weight and essentially being done. And that's what I want. And I can't understand why it's not working for me, why I'm not achieving that. And so what we did was we found the one thing that was really blocking her, really preventing her from seeing that consistency, from feeling like it's effortless. Another thing she kept saying, she's like, I'm exhausted. And we figured it out. We found that thing that was making her feel exhausted. And it really was that push and the pull. It was like, I, I want to live this life that where I can eat things that I want to eat. But then she was beating herself up on the other side of it. And that's where and then feeling like she needed to restrict. And that does not feel effortless. And that's what you're probably doing right now. That's what most people are doing. That's how they're trying to lose weight. It's like, I want to live my life. I want to be able to eat the things. And then the scale's up and it's like, oh my God, what did I do? this is the worst thing ever. I have to start over. I need to restrict everything and fix this. And nothing about that process feels effortless. It feels awful and it feels exhausting and it will keep you stuck. The scale's never going to move consistently in one direction. And that can be lifelong, but you're going to be in that cycle forever, as opposed to I lost the weight. I don't have to think about it anymore. This is who I am. I get to move on with my life. So what we did was we figured out what was keeping her stuck. It was one simple thing. And I was like, all you have to do now is hear that thing when it comes up, when your brain starts telling you that, and practice this other thing. That's what this is, guys. That's what learning is. I give this analogy all the time. But if you're learning a new sport, all you're doing is you're seeing, okay, this is why I missed that shot. This is what I did wrong. I want to have awareness around that because I don't want to keep doing it. It's okay if I do keep doing it because that's what I've practiced. Of course, I'm just going to kind of naturally do that. It's okay, but I just want to be aware of it. And this is what I want to practice instead. And then every time you swing your racket, I always use tennis as my analogy because I'm a tennis player. I used to teach tennis. But every time you swing your racket, it's okay, I don't want to do that. This is what I'm going to practice. This is what I want to do. I want to hit the ball this way. I want to hold my racket this way. I want to move my feet this way. I'm going to practice that over and over and over again. That's how your brain learns. That's how you get to be a good tennis player and you don't have to think about it. It's just effortless. It's who you are. I don't have to think about my shot. Unless I hit a bad shot, then I'm like, what did I do? What did I do there that was off? And how do I want to practice differently next time? It's no, like, I'm not beating myself up. I'm not struggling. I'm not exhausted from that. It's very simple. But that's how your brain learns. And that's what you need to do in weight loss. It's the same thing. Truly, truly is. You need to learn weight loss like you're learning a new sport. You need to figure out what you don't want to do and figure out what you want to practice. And you need to practice, practice, practice until it's just who you are. And it is effortless. And it's totally possible. Okay. So that's what I have for you today. If you want to feel effortless while you watch the number on the scale go down, I want you to know it is totally possible for you, even if it feels the very opposite of that right now. Even if it feels like there's no way you could possibly get there, you can get there. This is possible. And that's what I teach in my program. If you come work with me, I want you to walk away from me after a year. I want you to be like, I'm done. I'm moving on with my life. Weight loss, my weight problem is not a struggle anymore. I'm done with it. I get to move on. This is effortless. This is who I am. Moving on. So that's what we focus on in my program. I focus on teaching you how to do that. I taught you here in this podcast one thing that's going to kind of knock that block down for you. But as you heard, there's many ways to do this. And we create this in this multi-layered way to where this is just who you are. And you get to be done with your weight loss struggle. You get to lose 50 pounds and be done. All right. So come work with me. I would love to see you in my program and help you do this for yourself. All right. That's all I've got for you today. Bye.